Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to cut through the noise and really get into the insights you need. Today, we're taking a look back and forward, actually, at the pretty fascinating evolution of marketing. Our main guide here is this document, Meet Your Audience Where They Are, the evolution of marketing from the 80s to 2025. And honestly, it's described as a hilariously data-driven journey, which it kind of is, looking at marketing's hits, misses, and maybe some what were we thinking moments. It really shows how brands have tried and sometimes, really failed to connect with us. So our mission today, let's unpack how these strategies changed over the decades, why the old stuff just doesn't land anymore, and crucially, what's next for reaching people in this super personalized world we're in. It's a huge shift we're talking about.
It really is. A massive shift. Anyone who's been in marketing for a bit has seen it firsthand. Fundamentally, we've gone from, just shouting messages out there to everyone,
Right.
trying to get this really deep, almost individual understanding of what people need, what they like, even how they feel. It's a huge leap. The source calls it megaphones to mind readers, which I think is spot on. And the impact on brands, well, it's massive.
Megaphones to mind readers. Yeah, that nails it. It
Yeah.
really captures this whole thing. So here's something for you, our listener, to think about as we go. How many ads do you reckon you see in a single day? Thousands, probably. But how many actually stick? Or you can register because by the end of this, you'll get why the exposure is so high, but the actual retention, often pretty low. Okay, let's get into it. Starting back in the good old days, the 80s and 90s, we're calling this the spray and pray era. Seems fitting, right?
Oh, absolutely. It was all about mass reach. TV and radio were king, absolute giants. Like the source says, it was like having a megaphone at a library. You just blasted the message out,
Yeah.
hoping someone in that huge audience was listening or interested. Brands used big emotional stories, lots of celebrity endorsements. The idea was, if Madonna likes it,
It must be good. Yeah, I remember that. Aiming for that shared cultural buzz. And it was interesting, too, seeing the start of what they called relationship marketing back then, like American Express with their membership rewards. That felt pretty new for keeping customers around.
it was definitely a step. But we need to be clear, this wasn't personalization as we know it now.
Ah,
Not even close. Even with relationship marketing, communication was still pretty much one way. The document that it says, hey, all the charm of a highway billboard, you saw it, maybe got a perk, but no real back and forth.
right. No easy way to reply or complain, really.
Exactly. Brands weren't set up to listen at scale. And the time it took to launch anything, ages. Longer than a soap opera plot twist, is how the source puts it. Months of planning. Plus, back then, going viral meant you actually got sick.
Huh. Yeah, definitely not breaking the internet. The whole pace was just different. Okay, let's jump forward. The 2000s. We're calling this the awkward teenager phase.
Yeah.
Digital starts showing up, social media marketing begins, but it all felt a bit clumsy. The internet boom, right? Email campaigns started flooding inboxes, felt like digital junk mail a lot of the time, and banner ads, the new billboards, cheaper sure, but just as easy to ignore.
Exactly. It was very much the Wild West. Marketers were just trying to figure this whole digital thing out. And remember, early SEO magic. Search engine optimization was just starting. And the tactics were, let's say, basic. Keyword stuffing was considered an art form.
Yeah.
You'd see things like best pizza, best pizza, best pizza near me, pizzas stuffed onto pages.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Terrible. Yeah, Google caught on pretty quick, thankfully. It wasn't about helping users, just tricking the system. A desperate grab for attention.
Thank goodness they figured that out. But then something really changed things. Social media, Facebook, Twitter. Suddenly brands and people could actually talk to each other. Two-way conversations. Like the source says, suddenly brands could get roasted in real time. How refreshing.
Refreshing, maybe painful for some. But yeah, it forced engagement. You couldn't just broadcast anymore. It really was the moment where, as the source puts it, digital was still the awkward teenager at the traditional media family dinner. It was there, making noise, wanting attention, but hadn't quite found its place or integrated smoothly. Huge potential, but lots of fumbles too.
Setting the stage for what came next, which was the explosion. The 2010s. This is where multi-channel, data-driven marketing really took hold, changed everything. We had the mobile revolution. Our phones basically became our own personal TV networks. Suddenly, everyone's a creator. Instagram turned lunch into performance art. Everything became visual instant.
And in that mobile-first world, yeah, content is king, became the mantra. Platforms like YouTube, made regular people into stars just by making videos people wanted to watch. Brands realized they couldn't just interrupt anymore. They had to be the content, offer value. That whole subscribe and smash that like button thing, it wasn't just asking, it was building a community.
A totally different way of connecting than just ads.
Totally. It was about shared interests, providing something useful or entertaining.
And this decade also brought the programmatic rise. This is where the robots kind of took over ad buying, right? Machines placing ads in real time, way faster than humans could. The source jokes, what could go wrong?
Well, yeah, it was a massive shift. Instead of buying space on a website, you started buying individual eyeballs
Yeah.
based on data, real-time bidding, super specific targeting across tons of sites. But it definitely brought challenges too. Brand safety, ad fraud, making sense of all the data.
It sounds incredibly complex.
Oh, it became definingly complex. Like the document says, marketing became more complex than assembling IKEA furniture, and twice as frustrating when it didn't work. Suddenly you had all these channels, mountains of data, new tech popping up constantly. The real challenge wasn't just using the tools, but getting them to work together. A unified customer journey. That needed serious strategy and tech skills.
Okay, so that leads us right to today. Why doesn't that old school broad approach work anymore in, say, 2025? The data we have is pretty striking. A 30% TV ad effectiveness drop since 2020. That's huge. It's like, yeah, watching your favorite sitcom get canceled, but for marketers, you can't ignore that kind of shift.
And it makes sense when you think about just how much we're bombarded with, the average person,
Yeah.
exposed to 3.7K daily ads. And think about that. That's more interruptions than a toddler at a business meeting.
Yeah.
Our brains just filter most of it out. It's noise.
Right. How can anything cut through that?
Exactly. It's a massive challenge just to get noticed, let alone remembered. Broadcasting widely feels more like playing the lottery now.
And our ability to focus. Yikes. The data says we're down to an 8-second attention span. The source actually says goldfish officially have better focus than your target audience, which is funny, but also kind of terrifying for marketers.
It is. It means you have maybe 2 seconds, tops, to grab someone. No more long, slow buildups in most cases.
Yeah.
You have to earn that attention instantly, deliver value right away. Micro-content is key.
So that old broad approach.
It's just not efficient. It's like the analogy in the source. Broadcasting to everyone is like using a sledgehammer to hang a picture. Technically, it works, but the wall and your budget won't thank you. You waste money, annoy people who aren't interested.
Yeah.
It's just counterproductive now. Relevance beats reach every time.
Okay, but if it's so clearly not working as well, why do we still see so much of it? This persistence problem.
Yeah.
It's pretty shocking that 40% of brands are still on TV, radio, even with all the digital targeting options. It really does feel like choosing a horse and buggy over a Tesla. Why stick with it?
Well, a big part is fear. Simple as that sometimes. The data shows 67% fear new platforms. There's that quote in the source, YouTube is just a fad, said every marketer who missed the boat and is now swimming to catch up.
Ah, right. Fear of the unknown, even if the known isn't working.
Yeah, it seems complex, maybe requires new skills, or it's just comfortable sticking with the old ways. Inertia is powerful.
And speaking of inertia, legacy budget inertia. Just spending money where it's always been spent, we see 2.3x higher spending on outdated methods. Why? Simply because, as the source puts it, change is scarier than a horror movie marathon.
It's the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
Often. Easier to get the same budget approved than to argue for a completely new strategy, even if the data supports it.
Plus, sometimes the understanding just isn't there.
Sometimes, yeah. The source has that fun fact. Some agencies still think going digital means sending emails instead of faxes. Bless their hearts.
Wow. Okay. That really shows the gap, doesn't it?
It does. It highlights just how uneven the adoption of new strategies really is across the industry.
But the future isn't waiting. It's here, and it's moving fast. Let's talk about the 2020s and beyond. AI, automation, hyper-personalization. We're seeing AI-driven everything. And this isn't just hype. It's enabling real-time personalization that makes Netflix recommendations look like amateur hour.
Absolutely. Think about AI predicting your needs based on everything it knows about you. Past behavior, location, even the weather, and delivering the perfect message at the perfect time.
That's pretty powerful.
And then there's Automation Nation. This isn't about replacing humans, it's about freeing them up. Robots handle the tedious stuff while humans focus on being, well, human. Strategy, creativity, empathy. The stuff machines can't do.
Making the human role potentially more important in a way.
Exactly. More strategic.
And what about things like immersive experiences, AR/VR marketing? My first thought was, really, regular reality isn't enough.
But think about it. Trying on clothes virtually, test driving a car from your couch, exploring a resort.
Okay, yeah. That's different. It's active participation, not just watching.
Precisely. It moves from showing to experiencing.
Mhm.
Deeply personal, much more memorable.
It all points towards this hyper-personalization being the standard, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, the expectation. That analogy from the source is brilliant, if a little scary. Welcome to the age where your toaster knows more about customer preferences than most marketing departments.
My toaster. What?
It's about anticipating needs, being relevant before the customer even asks, moving from reactive to predictive. That's the edge.
Which loops back perfectly to the main idea, meeting customers where they are in 2025.
Hmm.
Our daily lives really are like multitasking Olympics. Think about your own morning, coffee, emails, Instagram, maybe a podcast all at once.
Mm-hmm.
Then the commute,
Mm-hmm.
TikTok, LinkedIn, Spotify. You're just consuming content constantly across different devices.
Faster than a competitive eater, as the source says.
And evenings, streaming, shopping, scrolling, the digital triple threat. We're everywhere. Brands need to find us there, but smartly.
And when they do it right, the results are clear. The source points to a 25% conversion lift from AI personalization in 2025.
That's a serious improvement.
It is better than finding money in your old jeans. It's proof that investing in this, understanding the customer journey, really pays off. It's not optional anymore.
So visualizing this whole shift, it's stark. Back in the 80s, it was totally one size fits all. Same ad for everyone, whether you needed pizza or insurance, just blast it out.
And now, 2025, it's one for you. AI doesn't just know you like pizza. It knows potentially you want pizza at 2 p.m. on Tuesdays after a stressful meeting. That level of context and timing.
Surgical precision, not broadcasting.
Exactly.
It really is, from megaphone to mind reader.
What a journey.
So, wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway for everyone listening? The core message seems unavoidable. Adapt or fade away. We've seen the evolution, the innovation, the foundational shifts. It demands change.
Absolutely right. And that quote from the source is chillingly accurate. The marketing graveyard is full of brands that thought their customers would come to them.
Mm-hmm.
But customers moved on. You have to move with them. Or, well, you end up in the graveyard. Complacency is deadly.
So true.
So the ultimate point, I think, that the thing to really hold on to is this. The most powerful marketing strategy isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about being the right voice at the right moment in the right ear. It's about relevance, connection, smart use of tech and data.
Perfectly put. Which leaves us with one last thought for you, our listeners, building on all this. Your customers. They aren't waiting around for you to figure it out. They're living their lives right now across all these platforms. They're making decisions, buying from the brands that are meeting them where they are. So the real question is, are you ready to evolve and meet them there? Or are you still holding on to that megaphone? Lots to think about. Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive today. We'll catch you next time for more insights.